show you a video, and this gentleman here has a video as well. And his video that he showed before, I was on it, but you know I gotta refind it. But basically, I don't know how somebody, Jake, wow, that's the wrong name. Somebody, what you call him? Snake, something Snake. Snake, make sure I ring my bell right, make sure I got it right, y'all. Because you know, I don't want to say it wrong. It's, oh, that's right. That's his name. Bill the Snake Gates is trying to figure out how to put nanobites, or you know, I ain't gonna say nothing but names, but you know what other people want. You know what they want you to do. Seems like somebody trying to find a way to sneak it inside the mosquitoes, and then it gets worse. Listen to this brother right here. Before I start, all praise to the Creator and nobody else. Peace and love to everyone. It's getting sticky. Mosquitoes, y'all, really? You can go see the video.
The situation with Indianapolis, we're going to go into that. We're going to go to what Russia said as their response to what the national emergency against Russia was. We're going to go into that as well. And then also we're going to look at the meeting with Japan and situations like that China doesn't like, and why was Biden not there? There's a lot of speculations on that note, and we're going to get into it. But first I'm going to drop this link to this video about the GMO mosquitoes that's about to be released and how they want you to get the VA you know what through that, and that's what they're planning to do. That was my last video. Alright, so the Indianapolis shooting, first off, we already know what they were going to be trying to be pushing next. We must act, Biden said after another mass shooting, facing pressure to do more on gun control. He said Congress must move next, April 16, 2021. Yes, this ties in with the World War III plan, the agendas and everything else, because it keeps moving forward on this note. So what we're going to do here is we're going to look into a little bit of this, but then we're going to get straight into the World War III news. Joe Biden, faced with yet another mass shooting on his watch, said Friday that the news of at least 8 Americans killed in Indianapolis on Thursday night has become too normal. Too many Americans are dying every single day from gun violence, he says. Biden said in a written statement, it strains our character and pierces the very soul of our nation. Yeah, some psychopath wants to go and shoot somebody and kill somebody, so we get to keep our guns, but this psychopath, maybe he gets to go to jail, and maybe he should be taken care of. And maybe they already knew about this dude a year ahead. They even admitted that. So what's the point? You know what I'm saying? Like, you get the intel, but you don't do anything about it. And you go down and it says, here it is right here, somebody had to report out. Well, Vice President Harris and I have been briefed on the mass shootings at FedEx facility in Indianapolis. God bless the 8 individuals we lost and their loved ones. We pray for wounded recovery we can and must do to reduce gun violence. Another mass shooting, and somebody says, when Congress does absolutely nothing, shooting out the shooting, we become complicit in slaughter. So obviously people pushing that agenda. But they already knew the dude. They knew about this guy, and they already knew he was a former employee. They already had got calls about him, and they did nothing. The FBI did nothing. So you're going to tell me that it's the people's fault and it's guns' fault, and instead media report Indianapolis gunman may have used an AR-15 to kill 8 people and wound others. It sucks that these situations keep happening and keep repeating, but every time I see a shooting, you already know what's next and you know what the plan is. So let's move forward, everybody. And I'm sorry for the people that was lost in this event, you know, due to the circumstance of the situation. But a lot of these other ones, we know what happens in those shootings as well too. Let's move on to the next piece of information that I want to get you into. Russia retaliating against Washington asks 10 U.S. diplomats to leave. What do y'all think about that last event anyway? Somebody says, kill guns, let's get some guns, go after them, effing guns. Another person says, they believe it's staged. So again, let's move on to the next piece of information. Russia retaliating against Washington asks 10 U.S. diplomats to leave. So again, 10 U.S. diplomats to leave. This is right after the national emergency against Russia. Russia on Friday asked 10 U.S. diplomats to leave the country in retaliation for Washington expulsion of the same number of Russian diplomats over alleged malign activity, suggested the U.S. ambassador returned home from consultations. So we're going to move on to what happened next. And basically, they're having this meeting. Biden hosts Japan PM Yoshihide Suga amid U.S.-China tensions. Yoshihide Suga. Sound like some type of boxer. Yo, welcome, Yoshihide Suga. So it sounds like some boxing name for real. April 16, 2021. Biden meets with 10 U.S. diplomats to leave. This is right after the national emergency against Russia. Russia on Friday asked 10 U.S. diplomats to leave the country in retaliation for Washington expulsion of the same number of Russian diplomats over alleged malign activity, suggested the U.S. ambassador returned home from consultations. So we're going to move on to what happened next. And basically, they're having this meeting. Biden hosts Japan PM Yoshihide Suga amid U.S.-China tensions. Yoshihide Suga. Sound like some type of boxer. Yo, welcome, Yoshihide Suga. So it sounds like some boxing name for real. April 16, 2021. Biden meets with Yoshihide Suga. But anyway, President Biden on Friday hosted Japanese Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga, White House, in the first visit foreign leader amid tensions between U.S. and China. Suga, who replaced longtime Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo last year, faced a stern warning from China government head to visit. Yet China mad about it, and they're still getting ready for invade drills. I'll talk about that here in just a second. But what was the strange thing? Here was a strange thing right here. Harris came up, and so Harris welcomed the Prime Minister instead of, you know how you always seen Donald Trump or whoever, the president come in, introduce the person from another country, the Prime Minister. Well, instead, Harris introduced him, and I'm going to show the video clip in a second. Is this symbolization of Harris being the next president that she's announcing? Was Joe Biden fell down somewhere and hurt himself again, or he just was disoriented? What really is happening here? I'm going to show you. She introduced him. This clip right here. Give you full screen.
It is now my great pleasure to welcome the Prime Minister of Japan and to thank him for this visit.
But the next piece of the plan, I'm going to take me down here and make it smaller. The next piece of the plan is to actually introduce Harris once Biden breaks down and collapses. And he's no longer, what can I say, walkable or no longer talkable. She's going to take the spot, and that's already in the agenda. But here she is. She introduced the Prime Minister instead of Biden doing it.
Which is the first visit to the United States of a world leader since he came in office. The President and I are very excited about the conversations we will have with the Prime Minister today. As you know, Mr. Prime Minister, you and I met just about a month ago during the Quad Summit, which was a meeting with...
All right, so I want to see what y'all think about that. This is a strange thing to me that she was introducing him, and usually you have the president introduce him. Is this meaning she's going to be the next?
This is like the third time she introduced somebody. Who was it? Some guy as the president of the United States, like freaking like a month ago. Like he put his hand above and took the oath and all that other shit. So, this is crazy, man. So now it's another guy. Yeah, all right, you can't make this shit up, man. I don't even. I felt, you know what? This should be like a prank. This whole show with this that's being shown in reality should like a good reality should be like a prank, like a bad joke, and then I just laugh at it like you stupid man. But no, this is not. Like this is it's happening, y'all. Like it's happening.
Next president, which obviously is a scenario that they're gonna have. What do you think in the comment section? Let's look and see what some people said. It's nap time. He was napping. I'm too old, I need to sleep. They talking about Joe Biden. Basically, I'm too old, I need to sleep. But anyway, to show him that he is not equal to the president of USA is so unfortunate. We have a 50% POTUS. It's like co-presidency, unreal. Somebody says VP was created as an emergency succession office because she is president. Somebody says he had an accident and was getting his diaper changed. Somebody else, he probably can't remember the guy's name. Wow. So that's all the scenarios basically that I thought was pretty interesting. And I wanted to see what y'all thought about it as well. Now moving on along from that, China then dumped more wastewater, just like Florida dumped some wastewater, but it said they were, rushing to try to pump it out now, but other than that, it's still in the ocean. So Fukushima round 2, I guess, is happening, and Chinese officials dared them to drink the water after pouring it all in there. So basically China was mad about it, even though China pollutes the ocean a lot as well. And so Taiwan situation, what's happened on that note, where we talk about what's happening with Japan. Basically Biden is aligning up with Japan to prepare for the China event. And at the same time, China is basically studying some history to seize Taiwan. It says a war in South America 39 years ago still teaching China lessons about how to seize Taiwan. The drills that they've been doing is combat drills, and also it's another scenario where they're talking about they're going to target Washington, actually target U.S. troops. They're saying it's combat drills for Taiwan areas and seize, but the way it's looking is strategic takeover and also to come after the troops. But in April 1982, Argentina invaded Falkland Islands, which were subject to long-running dispute with Britain. Britain sent a force to retake the islands in what remains the most recent war involving large air and land and naval battles. China has closely studied that war, looking for lessons to apply in the future conflict over Taiwan. So, moving on along from that, basically the drills that they were using, and this came out today, April 16, 2021, China mass drills near Taiwan to take aim at Washington audience. So going down to the drills, they basically have been doing these drills and they're getting closer and closer, and they're ramping up more and more, different, naval ships and different, bombers, all types of stuff like that. Going into it, it says Chinese carrier drills stepped up incursion into Taiwan's air defense zone in recent weeks are meant to send a message to Washington to stand down and back off security forces in Taipei. The increased activity, which China unusually described as combat drills on Wednesday, has raised alarm in both Taipei and Washington. Those security officials do not see it as a sign of imminent attack. And so that's what Biden and them had to be talking about. They had to be planning for the war scenario with the Great Reset. Obviously, what Biden was going to push for, I thought Trump would have started the World War III, but he actually didn't. And so Biden looks like he's really going to follow in with the plan. Notice how everything just escalated as soon as Biden got in. It was like, Biden saying, go, run. This is World War III, let's go. It seemed like everything just went forward. Obviously, he could be working in with the plan. Also, obviously, he could just be pushing the plan to pretend like he's resisting it, but to also be causing it. A lot of angles to it. Rather, according to an official familiar with Taiwan security planning, at least some of the exercises are practiced. Will you like the jab? But the question is, will you like the mosquito jab? That they're basically pretty much asking a question. And here's the question right there. You can read it for yourself. Can mosquitoes be used to you-know-what people? Right there, you can read it for yourself. Can mosquitoes be used to you-know-what people? Right there, you can read it for yourself. Can mosquitoes be used to you-know-what people with the you-know-what? Science Times puts it out. And I just wanted to talk about this because, for one, are they going to tell you they're going to do something like this? Let's read it, April 16, 2021, and then I'm going to tell you what's happening in Florida as well. It says, with all the side effects and everything happening, do we need another you-know-what to be developed? What if the developers use a mosquito to you-know-what people in the field against the killer virus? What if? Here's the question. Science Times is putting it out to you. The question is, will you be informed if they actually do that to mosquitoes? Now, going into the next part, and it's not certain that they're always going to be just regular mosquitoes, because they already got robot ones out there too. And I'll take you into that in a few, and then we'll get into what Florida, they're about to do the big release there. What if we use mosquitoes to you-know-what people? Japan actually did April 15, 2021. So there it is. Japan already did. The story goes back 11 years ago when a group of researchers genetically engineered mosquitoes to spread. The story goes back 11 years ago when a group of researchers genetically engineered mosquitoes to spread the VA you-know-what. Researchers genetically engineered mosquitoes to spread the VA you-know-what instead of disease. For their study, the group attached SP1 VA you-know-what against the disease. And so now they're asking the question, well, we did it in Japan, so should we do it again? This is something straight out of sci-fi. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. And remember, like I said, they're not always going to be normal ones. It's just like robotic ones flying around as well. These flying robots could be the key to eradicating malaria. Scientists are using the drones to deliver female mosquito birth control. And so they have robot mosquitoes as well out there that you're not going to know about. And they've already beta tested robot mosquitoes as well out there that you're not going to know about. And they've already beta tested robot mosquitoes as well out there that you're not going to know about. And they've already beta tested robot mosquitoes as well out there that you're not going to know about. And the scientists are using the drones to deliver female mosquito birth control. And so they have robot mosquitoes as well out there that you're not going to know about. And they've already beta tested all these years ago. So where are we at right now in the scenario? What is going on right now? Well, what's going on right now? TrueFlix, what's going on? He says, yep, flying VAXers has been around for a while. Scientists are now playing God with mosquitoes. BGR puts this out. And we go down to the report and it says, BGR puts this out, and we go down to the report, and it says April 15, 2021, preventing illness in humans is a high priority for scientists that devote their lives to finding cures and techniques to keep people healthy. Priority for scientists that devote their lives to finding cures and techniques to keep people healthy. Priority for scientists that devote their lives to finding cures and techniques to keep people healthy. To keep you healthy, that's what they're telling you, but something to keep people healthy. To keep you healthy, that's what they're telling you. But sometimes a plan comes along that is so wild it could cause even the most devoted science fans to furrow their brow. In Florida, dengue fever regularly sickens over 100 people a year, and many of those individuals that contract the virus are believed that they have received it locally via mosquitoes. Contract the virus are believed that they have received it locally via mosquitoes. Contract the virus are believed that they have received it locally via mosquito. That contract the virus are believed that they have received it locally via mosquitoes. This is what they're saying here. It says, now in what can only be described as a real-life equivalent of a made-for-TV sci-fi movie, scientists in Florida are prepared to unleash a swarm of genetically modified mosquitoes. Spy movie. Scientists in Florida are prepared to unleash a swarm of genetically modified mosquitoes. Spy movie. Scientists in Florida are prepared to unleash a swarm of genetically modified mosquitoes that will hopefully cut down on the number of biting insects. As a result, lower the numbers of mosquito-borne illnesses. The company behind OX5034 modified mosquitoes is called Oxitec. OX5034 modified mosquitoes is called Oxitec. 5034 modified mosquitoes is called Oxitec. And while it's gained approval for environmental agency, there are still plenty of critics that fear unforeseen consequences. And so it says, being worried about the release of genetically modified insects is certainly undesirable. There have always been fears of what might happen when humans begin playing God with nature and attempt to control various aspects of life, modifying DNA. Mosquitoes already carry disease, so anything that happens to them that might make them even more dangerous to humans could be catastrophic. That said, the company and the scientists seem certain of how things will play out. The mosquitoes have been given specific gene that essentially kills off females before they mature. The males are being released with expectation that they will mate with females and pass the gene down to the next generation. So basically, over time, they're going to kill off the other species and supposedly save us. They're going to kill off the other species and supposedly save us. They're going to kill off the other species and supposedly save us. But anyway,